Okay, I would now like to welcome to the stage Dr. Bronwyn Camac, Director of the Geological Survey of South Australia. Bronwyn will also be very familiar to many of you, either through her extensive career of over 30 years in the petroleum industry or more recently leading the Geological Survey of South Australia. Please welcome Bronwyn to present on Unearthing Opportunity, Exploration in South Australia.
It's bright up here. Well, what a fantastic presentation and announcement from the Minister today, and we're obviously at the Geological Survey very excited about what the future can hold for us in particular and for the state, driving geoscience through our group and out into the industry. So today I would like to run you through a little bit more of a deep dive into exploration, a review of the exploration in South Australia, and just fill you in on some of the key projects that the Geological Survey has delivered over the year, and then we'll end up with a little bit of a snapshot of what's coming next. So you've just seen some really nice big numbers. We did the numbers that underpin the Minister's presentation. We did a study, an independent study with ASO Allen a couple of years ago to really try to quantify the value of the Geological Survey, and it's actually been really helpful to really explain the value that our group does in this state. But it's a moving feast, it's a dynamic industry, and whilst last year we had record expenditure in exploration, this year it's a little bit down, but mainly driven from the activity of BHP across the Oak Dam and the Olympic Deeps project. But it's still a good number, it's still a really strong exploration number. But a lot of that, even though we've got lots of exploration going across of the different plays, and that sort of bolsters that little bit of dip in the exploration funding, because there is a lot of activity going on in the state. So this is a graph I nicked off the Treasury site. And it is showing, as the Minister said, a big increase in copper exports for the state this year. So this is a fantastic number and an investment and bringing back into the state from BHP and other copper producers. So that's very, very good going forward. And so now on to what's happening in the survey. So we have our mineral deposit database that we keep up to date with everything that's going on in the industry, and you can see that 14 new occurrences have been added this year, including the Lameroo Rare Earth, the Shepherd Road, Warrow Road West and Everest uranium projects. And up to 122 updates to exploration prospects have been done through that database, and these are all this is all data that's open to you guys, free of charge, of course, through the SAEMC platform. Now we've added over 2,400 million tonnes of resources this year. You guys have done that, and it's a remarkable achievement. So congratulations to everybody. So that 2.4 billion tonnes of resources added to the state's known mineral resources in the last 12 to 18 months. We've had a slight decrease in reserves, but that's a good thing. That means we're producing and we're maturing those resources through to market. So I'll just go through some of the commodity-based work. So just focusing in on copper. Obviously, copper prices are going well, and we do expect them to increase in the future as the world demands more copper for the electrification of the world as we head towards that sort of decarbonisation. But to note, BHP have added 335 million tonnes across their copper project. Coda have reported a flow sheet breakthrough delivering increased copper and silver production. Enviro Copper have final approval for their test work at Kapunda. Hillgrove have reported an 8% increase in copper production quarter on quarter at Camac. And mine construction is underway at Hillside on the Yorke Peninsula. So plenty going on in the copper state. What are we doing to underpin copper? Copper is our major commodity in this state, and the Geological Survey is our major commodity that we direct a lot of our work towards. We work really closely with Kathy and the team at BHP and all of our other copper explorers and producers as well. So this year we have delivered 3 new products based on copper. We've had updates to our commodity booklet. We've delivered two products, one across on the Stuart Shelf, looking at pyrite geochemistry, which is just looking deep dive into those mineral species. And the pyrite study has demonstrated the viability of in situ analysis of pyrite for sedimentary copper cobalt exploration across other parts of the state as well. The other big report that has been done was a collaboration between the Geological Survey and the CSIRO. And this was completed on the characteristics of a copper and gold system in the Curnamona province, and comparing that with the Carapatina ICG deposit. This was conducted by Tobias Schlegel at the CSIRO with collaboration from obviously our geologists at the Geological Survey. And they found that the Curnamona and the Carapatina embody diversity of copper and gold mineral systems in South Australia. The Curnamona is structurally complex and variable, and the alteration assemblages are consistent with the various stages of mineral systems that host ICG deposits. So I hope you agree. This is a very interesting report, and please download this report through our SARI catalogue if you're interested, to really start to unpick the Curnamona, because it's a very interesting province going forward for our ICG development. Uranium. So congratulations to Alligator Energy this year for winning the 2025 Australian Mining Prospect Award for the Big Lake Uranium Prospect, and to Heathgate for celebrating 25 years of mining at Beverley. Many other uranium projects are maturing towards mine, with Boss exporting over 870 kilopounds of uranium oxide to the US this year. And what are we doing in the survey? We've published updates to our uranium booklet, which we try and keep evergreen. These commodity booklets we take to conferences, we send them all over the world. They're just a really great snapshot of all of our commodities, and we've done a good update of our uranium booklet this year. And we've also done a drill hole report for the Northwestern Gawler, and the team has presented at the Global Uranium Conference this year on Paleo Valley related exploration in uranium. Excuse me. A bit early for me in my throat. When we're looking at critical minerals across the state, Australia Rare Earths was awarded a $5 million grant from the Australian Government to complete a PFS and to build a demonstration plant. Some great news coming out of the Cobra Boland project, with ISR trials with ANSTO yielding positive results for heavy rare earths. Renascor have commenced the construction of its purified spherical graphite demonstration plant at Bolivar, and the Muckaninny titanium discovery is going from strength to strength for Petrotherm, with extension exploration opportunities also identified across this play. So the GSSA deliverables in critical minerals, well, what can I say? The Critical Minerals South Australian project's been conducted over the last 3 years. We technically completed that project sort of mid this year. Extraordinary amount of products. This project was led by Dr. Carmen Krupp, who's in the room, and I'm sure you all know Carmen. And she has delivered this incredible project. I think something like 35 products have come out of this project for critical minerals across the state. And now we're seeing all the companies that have been looking for critical minerals over the last few years really starting to make forward moves in each of their projects, and we commend them for taking this on. We're always looking ahead. Where haven't we looked before for critical minerals, and so looking for studies. So obviously there's a lot of work that's been done in mine waste across Australia, and we have done our bit here too in South Australia, where we've sampled 7 sites across Australia and delivered multiple reports on the outcomes. So if you're interested in having a look for critical minerals in mine waste, download our reports there. There's a QR code on the screen. You can grab that. And the other big project or report that we did deliver was the rare earth potential of the Curnamona province. Of course, magnetite, iron ore, is a really important part of our exploration and mining output here in South Australia, and of course underpins the government strategy for a green iron and steel industry into the future. So right now we're looking at nearly 20 billion tonnes of resource in the ground, and we've had a 15% increase due to the Razorback project. So they did, so Magnetite Mines revised their mineral resource estimate this year and have submitted for a mining lease proposal. And Peak Iron Mines at Buzzard, our direct shipping ore hematite mine, is now in operation with an open pit inventory of 15 million tonnes at 61% iron. So they commenced their shipping of the DSO hematite in July this year, so a very exciting opportunity in magnetite and iron ore. Of course, we've been beavering away on magnetite in the survey over the last couple of years, and this year we delivered, in collaboration with the MIRA and the CSIRO, a global comparison. We wanted to see, I guess in the survey we kept hearing this comment, we've got the best magnetite in the world kind of thing. And we're like, have we? Let's go and check that out. So we went and did a global comparison study of our deposits and the quality of our magnetite and tried to compare it with other magnetite deposits. I think it was interesting to note that it's very hard to compare something when you've got so much data and nobody else has. So I would have to say Western Australia and Canada have data sets that we could compare our deposits with, but it was very, very difficult to compare these magnetite deposits across the world. However, you know, there were some key outcomes from this. And basically, our database is global leading, we learnt that. And by magnetite tonnage, we rank 3rd globally. Some of the deposits have coarse-grained and less abrasive ores, which represent a significant advantage. And head grades and concentrate grades and recovery rates of South Australian magnetite deposits are comparable to economically valuable mines operating in Western Australia and in Canada. So we are competitive in this. We want to keep pushing our magnetite deposits, our high-quality magnetite deposits, and hopefully in the future be able to deliver that magnetite through a green iron facility at Whyalla. And of course, gold. Who can deny the price of gold's just gone through the roof? 130% over 5 years. And this climbing price, excuse me. This, oh, Jesus, okay. How are we going here? The climbing price of gold continues to drive interest and exploration activity for Barton, reporting JORC resource growth this year. Significant gold intercepts have been reported by Hillgrove at Kamantu, Marmota at Aurora Tank, Havilah, SEPA and Tirana resources. And congratulations to Alliance on its grant of its mining lease at Wilcherra Windana. Now I just want to focus a little bit before I finish about what we've delivered outside the commodity space but across the whole of the state. It's been a spectacular for us year of delivery. We have delivered some major projects that have been going on for many years. This year the team has been extraordinarily busy pulling all of those projects work together and delivering it through a really modern system to you. And I think firstly you heard about the National Drilling Initiative that underpins this acreage release that we're very excited the Minister announced that today. Everything will be available during the day over the websites and through MERS, so you can have a peek at those acreages on offer and start preparing for your submissions. We've got the critical minerals in South Australia, which we've talked about already. SARI Catalogue, which is really a modern way of delivering all of our publications and reports and data through to you in a really modern way through the cloud technology. We've started the SARI Core Intelligence procurement process, and we're really excited to be able to start that project in earnest and deliver something to you by this time next year. So please keep an eye on that one, and we'll be really happy to deliver that project next year and tell you all about it. Of course, the South Australian Discovery Mapping Project, an extraordinary piece of work that really has delivered seamless geology across the state in time and in space, and all through the SARI portal. You'll be able to download and you can scrape our data, and it's all AI ready, so all of that data is machine readable, human readable and accessible. In the oil and gas space, we've delivered a number of projects as well, opening up the state to more oil and gas exploration. We've talked about the magnetite global comparison study, and we also have migrated our geodata database across onto a different platform at the moment, and we are making plans to start modernising that system in time. That will take a number of years to do that, and also earlier in the year we delivered a prospectivity review across the Woomera protected area. So I'm so incredibly proud of what we have delivered this year. It's been over 55 products and counting in the form of report books, data releases, acreage releases, digital applications to modernise the delivery of public geoscience to you. These products range, as I said, over a couple of months. Some of them only took a few months, right through to nearly 6 years to complete. We talked a little bit, obviously, about the NDI. I think it's really important that you know that we have all of the samples have now been collected from our drilling program, and the analytical work and interpretation is well underway. So much so that the team is holding a workshop at the Drill Core Library on the 9th of December. So there's a QR code on the screen. You can get to it through our website. We spam people all over the time in LinkedIn, so please find it if you're interested in going and register. And the data and the report associated with the NDI work that the team has been working on for a couple of years now will be released in early 2026 in time for the release of the acreage, so that you'll be prepared for your submissions. And just on the, while we're talking about core and data, so we're just a bit excited at the moment because we've just received several significant core submissions to the core library. These include a hole into the Olympic Dam Deeps zone below the southern mine area. We also have a drill hole from the Oak Dam deposit, which displays the transition from the host granite through the highly mineralised hematite breccia into the most barren hematite core of the deposit, and then repeated out the other side. So in the coming months, we'll also hold a series of holes from the Arcuna prospects that represent an offshoot of the Oak Dam system, showing a portion of the broader system that just didn't quite develop into a deposit. And we'll soon have available a traverse of holes across the Hillside deposit, mineralised holes from the Challenger gold mine, and the intriguing magmatic nickel prospects of Sahara and Mystic from the Western Gawler that caused quite a stir back in 2020. These new additions to the core library are outstanding representative samples across some of our iconic deposits, and I want to thank our companies that have worked with us to be able to capture this iconic core and hold it in our core library in perpetuity for you today and for all of our future explorers. The value of our data and both physical and core samples and cuttings and our digital data set is almost irreplaceable and valued at over $7.5 billion. During 2024, SARIC was contacted over 17,000 times from right across the globe, with over 87,000 downloads. This year so far, the downloads have increased by 36%, showing how South Australia's data is being increasingly used by exploration and possibly now being used in AI and ML models, because we have heard already, and I'll keep saying it, we do have the best data set almost in the world, but certainly in most of the world. The heaviest usage is from Australia, obviously, but you can see that we have many customers located in the US, Canada, Brazil, India, China and Japan. The heat map on the left shows that most of the interest in South Australia is focused on the Eyre Peninsula and the Olympic Copper Domain. Together, these provinces have been identified as our highest priorities for future work. So what's next? You've heard about our South Australian Discovery Mapping Project. The project money itself has come to an end, but the project, the groundwork that the team has done and the infrastructure and our mechanism to be able to deliver geology in this way is really how we'll be delivering all of our geoscience into the future. So while it won't be called South Australian Discovery Mapping in the future, it will be exactly underpinning, that project has underpinned and made that big change to delivery, and that's how we're going to be delivering in the future. So please use our digital data in this way. And we've also developed a discovery mapping project. What have I done here? So this map, I've had a brain fade. What's it called? Honestly, I really am losing it today. It's called a story map. So this story map's available online. I need to go back a bit. How do I go back? Right. And this will take you through that project. And as I said, like, this is how we're going to deliver in the future. So if you haven't really had a good look at it, or you've just gone on and had a little snapshot, go through the story map and actually it will show you step by step how it was put together and how you can access this data. It's a really interesting way of explaining what we're doing to our customers. So our first delivery is this first edition of geology across the GCAS part of the Gawler Craton, and we'll obviously we're moving now and have already started work in the Eastern Gawler province, which includes the Olympic Copper Domain and our sedimentary copper play, and then we'll be moving down into the Eyre Peninsula. A little bit of crossover, so not one after the other, but we're starting to acquire information and start working on the Eyre Peninsula as well. But most of the detailed mapping will be focused on the Eastern Gawler for now. So let's focus on the Eyre Peninsula. So we have a map here. We know that the Eyre Peninsula is highly prospective for multiple commodities. And we are very, very excited to be able to really double down and study. There's a lot of industry activity on the peninsula, and we'd like to continue gleaning that information and using it in our studies to drive more exploration in this region of the state. You'll see the Polder Basin also over the onshore part of the Polder Basin overlies this area as well. And the geoscience, the Geological Survey this year has actually uncovered for the very first time an active petroleum system in the onshore part of the Polder Basin based on a mineral core that was taken like 100 years ago and by a mineral company, and wasn't particularly interested in oil staining and been sitting in the library for that long, and we dragged it out and had a look at it and found this mineral system, this petroleum system there. So this data needs to stay here, we need to keep it, things change, and we're continuously acting on our legacy data and finding new things. Okay, this is exciting. So we got some new geophysics coming. So we had a little bit of money left out of the Critical Minerals Project and thought we would address our critical minerals prospectivity on the Eyre Peninsula, but of course it encompasses so much more. So we're pretty excited to announce that we've got some funding to be able to acquire another AEM survey over the eastern part of the Eyre Peninsula. We tried to get as much as we could with the money we had. We're also putting a lot of pressure on Geoscience Australia to come to the party and fill in that horrible hole that we have over South Australia in our AEM data sets. But we're going to be taking this survey at a 5 kilometre spacing. And as I said, keep putting pressure to infill the rest in Geoscience Australia, but they will be doing it at 20 kilometre spacing, a more regional scale. So we know we need to work in that sort of between industry and the big regional studies to really start to uncover opportunities across this area. We're out to tender at the moment, and we will be planning to acquire this in Q2 next year. So hopefully we'll have a data set and a whole bunch of new insights coming out over this project over the coming years. Last slide, Mark. You'll be pleased to know. Just want to leave you with some key takeaways. So the timeline chart on your right, I don't expect you really to read all of these things, but this is just a snapshot of the deliverables from the Geological Survey this year. It's been a really busy year, an extraordinary delivery from the survey. I'm so proud of the team. They have worked above and beyond every single day and have worked together and with industry in a positive and really energetic way this year, and we plan to continue in this way and keep delivering to you guys just forever, and just keep getting more data and more information as we go forward. And we're really looking forward to the Minister getting some funding for us. So stay tuned, and hopefully next year we'll be able to have some big announcements. So thank you very much, Mark, and thank you very much for your attention today. Oh, sorry, Mark.